Welcome back to the channel here. Most of my videos do center around woodworking stuff and CNC projects. And I do have a few CNC projects in the works. I've started to play with Blender and Blender Cam, which is really cool. So we can do all of the design stuff and the cam work in Blender. But I'm kind of new to the software, so that's another project I am working on. But in the meantime, we've got another watch unboxing, and we're going to see how this one goes. In looking on YouTube and looking online, I really haven't seen any videos of this particular one. I prefer automatics, and this is an automatic. The specs match kind of what I prefer, and I'm really curious to see what the quality is and how this kind of sits once we open it up. So this video won't be too long, but we're going to do an unboxing here and see what kind of results we have. So to be completely honest, I don't know what kind of quality we're going to get out of a $60 automatic watch that has all of these extra complications in here. We've got the day of the week, the day of the month, and a 60-second or actually an hour timer there, I guess, with the start and stop with the pushers on the side. And an automatic with all these things. I'm curious to see what kind of quality we've got in there. So we'll do an unboxing. And I've also got some close-up lenses. So we'll try to get a few close-up shots. All right, so let's see what we've got in there. I ordered this on eBay. Got here from China in about 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks. And that's to the East Coast. So let's open this up and see what we've got out of this $60 automatic vintage inspired watch. I can see the crease right there. Okay, a lot of good bubble wrap. It's interesting how much more weight the actual watch has when you get it away from the box. And we're running there. It came with a band that I don't particularly like, and I much prefer the Barton bands. So another thing we'll do is we'll put that band on there. So let's drop that out of there. And that's the initial look. And my first thoughts are I don't see any cracks in the glass, and I say glass loosely because I think this is acrylic. There's no protection on the glass there. We do have some plastic on the back. It looks pretty clean inside. And I have no idea which movement is in here. So initial feelings, the finish is pretty good. And again, this is a $60 automatic watch. Got a little bit of roughness right below that pusher. So let's switch this over to the Barton band and set it and look into some more of the specs on this. So before we switch over to the Barton band, I was messing with the settings a little bit, and I'm surprised. This is a hacking movement as we pull the stem out, and it is also a screw down stem. That was a surprise too. I thought that was just going to sit in. So we've got the screw down there, and we've got the hacking movement. To set the day of the week, it's the top pusher. For the day of the month, it's the bottom pusher. And what I don't yet know is for the timer on the bottom, how that works. But I am surprised about those two things. The action is really good. Pretty responsive. And just looking at the placement of the hands, everything looks really straight. So those are surprises. So we set the day of the week by pushing in the top there. So let's go to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to set this back one day and move it forward, and then set this for, today is the 6th of December. Let's set this to the 5th, and then we'll work it forward. So 31st, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's advance this a day. Okay. And everything did advance nicely. And right now we're at about 4:16, and we'll find out how accurate this is over the next few weeks. And we are rolling here. That is a surprise. I did not think that was a screw down crown. And you can manually wind it. I do feel the tension there. So that extra seconds down here, that may just mimic our seconds here. I don't know yet. Interesting. Another thing I noticed, it's pretty quiet. When you move it around, you can hear the weight swing through, but as far as hearing the actual ticking, it's surprisingly quiet. Now let's see if we've got an indirect seconds hand by putting some downward weight on the seconds hand. This watch I ordered from the same seller several months back, and this one is a lot of fun. It's a great watch, but something that I've not liked is it's got an indirect seconds hand. So if you hold this just right, the seconds hand will almost jump as if it's a quartz. And looking at this one, our seconds hand is really locked in there. Usually if you hold it so that the weight is pulling it down, you can kind of see, and there's no jumping there. That is really tight. Another interesting thing. I do like that vintage look of the crown. Not the crown, the crystal. That's pretty cool. These blue marks on here, I believe, are just stickers. At least that's the way that it worked on this guy here. And yes, the blue that's on there, those are just stickers, so the easiest way to get those off, just a little bit of tape. The nice thing about the Barton bands, at least these silicone ones, is you get two size straps. And I found for a 7-inch wrist, I prefer the ones a little bit longer, but it is cool that they send you both of those. And the ease of putting these Barton ones on. These are 20mm lugs. Cool. It's got a good look to it. I do think that that bottom dial there is just another seconds hand that just kind of mirrors the top one there. It's a little bit of a bummer. I was hoping that would be a start-stop timer. But looking at the finish, I am surprised for a $63, $62 watch. How clean that looks. And for a 15mm dimension here, it does not look that tall. It really doesn't feel that tall. And I guess that's a big part because of the crystal there. Clean lines. There is something else that I'm pleasantly surprised about. For each of these dials, I was expecting them to be flat with the surface of the dial, but they're each inset a little bit. So that is cool. And again, the fact that there does not appear to be an indirect seconds hand, where that second hand really is locked in, is a pleasant surprise. Even with the screw down crown here, this is really not a water resistant watch. I think they indicated 3 ATMs, which means pretty much nothing. A little bit of splashing here and there. Certainly not for a pool. Probably not even for the shower. I think this would hold pretty tight, but these would be probably where your moisture gets in. First impressions are pretty cool. The quality is much better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think that the movement would hack, so that's really cool. I didn't think that the stem there, the crown, would be a screw down crown, so that was another pleasant surprise. I was also surprised that the 3 dials are inset a little bit, and that's pretty awesome. As far as negatives go, I think it's kind of silly that we've got another second hand down here. It would be cool if we could start and stop with something else, and if that was an hour timer or some sort of timer, that would have been cool. And I would love to know what movement that is in there. I'm not going to take the back off, but I would be really curious to find out what kind of movement that is. It's really quiet to listen to. I was expecting it to be pretty loud, and it's pretty quiet. And that seconds hand to not be an indirect seconds hand, where it's pretty locked into its steps, is another cool surprise. And in the last 20 minutes, it hasn't lost or gained a second, so we'll see over time how much that changes. But overall, with the Barton band, pretty cool. I think it's certainly worth 60 some bucks. Kind of neat. Thanks very much for taking a look.